Under CEO of the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger has turned the house that Walt built into a buying machine. He's bought Pixar, he's bought ESPN, he's bought ABC. What is there left for the man to buy? Well, despite the fact we thought this was from an era gone by, it turns out Bob Iger loves to buy, and he's purchasing Fubo. But why? Why would he go into buying up a tiny streaming service? Well, we'll explain, and it changes much, if not everything. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the channel that loves to cover the company that Walt built, and which now is built for trying to deal with lawsuits. Lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, and yes, today's video will be dealing with yet another lawsuit, and Disney's novel way of handling it. It turns out if you don't like a lawsuit and you want to settle it, there's one way to do it that we had not yet considered. Just literally buy the company that's suing you. And that's what Bob is doing. So we'll cover it. Folks, click the like button. You'll help cover us. And here we go. Here's what we have. It's out of Deadline by Dade Hayes. Tubi hits 97 million monthly users and 10 billion annual streaming hours. And this is to give you some idea why Disney was ready to buy and spend big money to do so, buying up another company, buying Fubo. Here's the story about Tubi. It says Tubi continued to gain traction in 2024, surpassing 97 million monthly active users and 10 billion streaming hours. Fox Corp paid $440 million in 2020 to acquire the free ad-supported streaming outlet and has recently projected it will bring in $1 billion in full-year revenue. In other words, it will exceed the full input of investment. Now, Disney would never claim that they have managed to do that because Disney Plus and all of their streaming expenditures, we believe, add up to something like $100 billion. And so when Disney declares that they've achieved a profit in a single quarter, they're talking about expenses in that quarter versus profits in that quarter. They are not talking about overall. Here with Tubi, Fox Corp is saying, yeah, we spent $440 million on it, and we're about to make $1 billion in a single year. That's a huge difference. And so Disney was facing things like Tubi, which have 1/100th the investment, and here's the result of that. Spend. Out of THR by George Sazali, it says, Disney's Hulu plus Live TV and Fubo merger surprised Wall Street and could lead to more deals. The launch of sports streamer Venue and potentially new packages from Fubo appears to be an important strategic lever to cast a wider net and catch all potential subscribers, says one Disney analyst. Disney started off 2025 with a bang, unveiling on Monday a surprise merger of its multi-channel video streaming service, Hulu Plus Live TV, with competitor FuboTV, forming a combined company that will continue to be publicly traded under the Fubo name, but with the Hollywood giant controlling 70% and a majority of the board. Now remember that Fubo was suing Disney because they were claiming that Disney had impeded on their contracts. And so how did Disney handle that lawsuit? Well, we know in the past that Disney has settled lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. This time, Disney did not settle the lawsuit. Disney just bought the company that was suing them. Well, that's a novel way of doing it, eh? Out of Reuters, it says, Disney's Hulu Plus Live TV business to combine with Fubo clearing way for Venue Sports by Don Chmielewski and Deborah Mary Sophia. It says Disney will hold 70% of the stake in the combined venture. Fubo agrees to drop the lawsuit against their owner now, and they'll also receive a $220 million settlement, but really that's just, hey, we bought you. As a result, Fubo shares surged 141% after the merger announcement. Fubo and Hulu Plus Live TV remain separate offerings post-deal. Now, this is a big deal to Disney because they're trying to compete with YouTube TV, and YouTube TV has many more subscribers than Hulu Live. Adding in Fubo TV gives them some benefit there. They also get the lawsuit off of them. In some ways, this is a genius move, panel. In other ways, it is definitively not, because it's another example of when Bob feels the floor getting hot, he goes on a buying spree. Tom, what do you make of this purchase by Disney? Do you think this was wise, or do you think this is yet another example of Bob Iger not being able to win unless he just buys stuff again and again?
I think it was pretty much, yeah, just a move on his behalf, being like, we're going to lose this, so we might as well just buy him out. I guess is what it looks like to me. I haven't had a chance to really dig into it much, but yeah, that's what it looks like. Otherwise, it's also partially kind of looks like conglomeration, as we knew was going to happen eventually. Like a lot of these, we're going to have to start buying each other. But what was the original lawsuit about? I missed that part.
Well, they were suing because Disney was trying to do this sports venture with all these other companies.
Oh, okay,
and
that's right. All right.
So the Fubo said, well, no, actually that impedes on us and our sports contracts. But let me throw a wrench in this, because here's what I think. It is January, well, it was January 6th. Today is January 7th that we're getting this information. Tom, I wonder if Disney wanted to pull this as fast as they could because they were afraid that the regulators under the Trump administration might try to stop them later on and say, no.
That too. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so I think this had something to do with it. And if you're a Disney investor, you got to start wondering. I mean, they haven't paid the rest of the Hulu contract yet, is our understanding. So they're still on the hook for billions and billions of dollars to finish buying out Hulu. Now they're buying out FuboTV. And if you look at it, even with all of this, Disney still comes nowhere close to YouTube and their streaming service. Erica, is Fubo even available internationally? I don't know enough about it to really know if Fubo is available in places like Europe. Have you even seen it come up?
Tried, and the VPN doesn't even work on it. It recognizes that we're overseas, so it's rendered useless for us over here.
So they have a landlocked streaming service that they've purchased. That's amazing.
And we have a pretty good VPN too. I've tried Express, I've tried Nord, and that sucker, they really know what they're doing in terms of VPN detection.
So let me show you this, and that's very insightful. Fubo is going to land in the other streaming. And the reason Fubo is going to land there is because Fubo doesn't register as high as even Pluto TV. It's under the 0.9%. So we're looking right now at the Nielsen distributor gauge. And so we've got YouTube is at the top with 10.8% of all streaming. And let's see, is this November still? Yeah, still November. Okay. YouTube is at 10.8% of all viewership in streaming. People consume 10.8% YouTube. And this is on TV only. Netflix is at 7.7%. Amazon is distantly in third with 3.7%. And then you get the Disney stuff. You get Hulu and Disney Plus. And they're down there even more significantly, way off in sort of this other area. Roku, by the way, has now completely caught up with Disney Plus, as we've said it probably would. And Tubi is right there as well. In fact, we think that in 2025, that it could be that Roku and Tubi take the lead, except ESPN now being incorporated into Disney Plus may save the day. But by them getting Fubo, Fubo doesn't even show up on the list. So they didn't get that much of a gain there, but they're trying every way they can to at least get Disney Plus and Hulu caught up with Amazon. Because what's going to happen is, as time goes on, all of this stuff is going to consolidate. Like these little companies can't continue to hold their own streaming services forever. So they're going to start combining together. And Disney's got to find a way to break into that top 3 or 4, especially with XTV possibly launching. So this is why they're making the play with Fubo. Ron, what's your thought on Iger going back on a buying spree?
Oh God, that's the only thing he's ever known how to do is buy anything. I was curious. I did have a question. So like on my streaming service where I purchased the Max, Disney Plus, Hulu thing. Okay, so I can't get Hulu on Hulu. Like I can't log into Hulu through that. I get Hulu through Disney Plus. Yeah, I wanted to. So my question is Hulu and Disney Plus, are they going to merge into a brand the way HBO Max became Max? Is there going to be a different name? What is maybe you guys know more expertise than me. What's going on with that?
This has always been the problem of how Disney is doing it. Disney wants to have Hulu be its own standalone because of the live TV aspect. Disney wants ESPN to be its own standalone because, well, it is. And yet Disney also wants to integrate them into Disney Plus. And therefore, Disney Plus is competing with those inside of Disney Plus against their own services. It's never made sense. For Hulu, it's my belief, my speculation, that Disney wants Hulu to exist only because contractually it needs to exist as its own separate thing for the live TV part. But in terms of its content, they want Hulu inside Disney Plus completely because they want the advertising dollars and they want the content in Disney Plus to make Disney Plus look better. Because Disney Plus on its own was struggling significantly. And that was damaging the overall brand because the flagship was not performing well. So that's why they're bringing ESPN and Hulu in, is to try to lift up and float Disney Plus on those.
So if I'm watching Hulu, but I'm watching it through Disney Plus, does it count towards Hulu or does it count towards Disney Plus? How does that even work?
So nobody actually knows that. We don't, I mean, somebody does inside the industry, but that's never been made explicitly clear to the public, is how that gets counted either in ratings or in advertising. And so it's very confusing. I totally agree with you.
It's I don't know. The whole thing is strange. And now, to be honest with you, I personally hardly ever watch any of those. I'm usually watching Max, which is, because I watch Chuck. Chuck is on Max, and Max has got some other interest. Like I like Friends. I'm a big fan of Friends, so that's on there. And Lois and Clark, of course, I'm a big fan of that. Those are all on Max. My son watches, the Lion King movies and the Disney Plus movies and stuff. But the older stuff, there's nothing new. Nothing that they're putting out new is interesting. There's only one property that I'm even looking forward to, and that is hoping to God that they do not ruin Daredevil, and that might actually be a good show. Because it's the only thing that I'm still interested in Marvel. But other than that, it's weird. I don't know what, honestly, Fubo, I guess that's a sports thing. So I don't know. I'm not in the executives. I can't even imagine what they're thinking. But what I do know is that it seems like the Disney company's priorities are completely mismanaged, completely wrong. And that comes from Bob Iger at the top. The only thing he knows how to do is make purchases. But if the trend follows, they will ruin Fubo and it won't exist anymore in like a year. They've ruined everything else they purchased.
Well, I'll say this for Disney. So they bought 70% of FuboTV. Okay. So whatever we might think of that, FuboTV went from $1.44 per share to currently $5.55 per share. So Disney made a heck of a change in the value of their stock once they purchased it, likely because investors, and by the way, we're not giving financial advice, likely because investors that gave them confidence that FuboTV won't be going under anytime soon. So something to be said there. I want to give Tom the opportunity to wrap this one up, though, because Tom has been covering streaming. He's been watching streaming, giving streaming analysis for years and years. And it seems to me, Tom, that what we're seeing with the consolidation across the market, it lines up exactly with what you've been predicting now for years. So your thoughts on Disney, again, consolidating yet another company into their streaming umbrella?
As I said, it makes sense because there's just too much of it in the market, right? There's too many of these companies that people have gotten smart. Unlike with cable, where you were locked into your contract, it's not the same thing with streaming. People have been hopping around streamers and sharing passwords and whatnot. And as much as they can crack down on that, they can't stop people from, getting out of streaming, jumping 1 month from Disney Plus, the next month to Netflix, and then the next month to Hulu, and so on and so forth. I mean, that's kind of what I've noticed happening. Yeah, it basically, not only are we seeing conglomerations between like companies buying each other and all that kind of stuff, we're also seeing where you've got I kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry about that. But anyhow,
for the caboose. Don't worry, you'll get there.
Yeah, no, I got caught off guard because I was dealing with something else in the background. So I'm just kind of trying to gather my thoughts here. But yeah, no, the conglomeration's happening. But what I meant was like Amazon and other places, you have these hubs where you can get Paramount Plus and all and HBO Max and all these kind of places.
And that's the way they're going to try to save face, Tom. They're going to a la carte this together so that it doesn't necessarily look like, yeah, well, none of us could survive on our own, so we all banded together. They're going to try and make it look like, well, we're just partnering up, and yeah, you can have us here on our own standalone, but you can also get us over here. And ultimately, most people are going to get it through centralized hubs. You're exactly right. Good night, game over, drive home safely. Folks, this video is done. But before we all head home, we only ask one thing. Folks, as you get ready to head on out, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and share your thoughts, for a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Waste not that beautiful personality of yours. And folks, we would say, as you get ready to head out the door, that it has been an honor to spend time with you, an attitude of gratitude each and every time that you elect to join together with us. Breaking bread and breaking entertainment, well, the industry. No, we like entertainment. It's the industry that irks us sometimes. Well, it was a good time. We hope you had a good time. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.